Now the reason they're doing this piece, this both astonishes and offends me, the thing I'm about to teach you. And we're very lucky here in Orange County. "44% of the high schools in California do not offer enough H through G classes to permit their kids to be A through G compliant. Almost half of the high schools in California are so deficient in their curriculum that their children can't make 15 A through G. Go.
In terms of graduation from high school, in terms of complying with the new?
In terms of complying with the old rules. In the old rules, you had to finish 15 years worth of A through G. 4 years of math, 4 years of English, 3 years. Those are the old rules. Except you would go to a high school that didn't have 15. So I mean, those kids were completely hosed the moment they walked in the door and didn't know it. And there's no one here who would think that was fair or right. And the biggest problem is the visual and performing arts thing. There's a requirement that kids must finish a year of visual and performing arts. There aren't many schools that have that. So in the future, for eligibility, if a kid only does 14 of the 15 because she didn't do her VPA, they're still allowed to accept her. The rules change, right? So I got 22,000 more eligible kids by eliminating the subject test. I will get 7,000 more kids by easing the mandate around visual and performing arts. All this is I just want to give kids a fair chance. So if they have a compelling story to tell, they can be considered. They're not going to be considered at UCLA with a 3.1 and an 1160 combined on the SAT. UCLA knows if they take that kid, the odds of her finishing are 0. But now, Riverside gets to play. Now Santa Cruz can fill its seats if it wants to. Are you with me? All right, stop a second. Over here, any questions? Go.
My question is, on the performing art, visual art F requirement, the AG, is that easing only going to take place for high schools that do not even offer?
I don't know the answer. The lady's question is that going to be linked to the curriculum of a high school? Because you know why? It's possible that a school would offer it, but not offer enough sections of it. I think what this will allow is it will allow the admissions officers at individual schools to have more flexibility around the tail of the kid. So it's taking out rules for the sake of rules and putting in human reasoning. And I'm okay with that. Remember, if a kid hasn't finished the A through G requirements, I'm a little suspect because I'm not sure they're ready to do well. You know, I'm not going to let them get away with not taking 4 years of English, probably. But that VPA thing always seems somewhat artificial. This side. Back. Yes, in the very, very back. And then in the very back. Back row. So the lady's question. We got VPA. I don't want to do it. I'd rather do AP chemistry instead. Don't do that. This is a severe exception to the rule that you don't want to be in sort of the crosshairs of. Okay? Follow the basic rules, because it's just smart to do it. You know, in general, all I've done here is increase eligibility. I don't want to do things that might mess with my admissibility. Yes, sir. You would agree? Yes, sir. Go. Yeah.
I have a question about the exception in visual arts. For UC schools, is it good to take 4 years, like starting from freshman year to senior year, 4 years of an advanced visual arts like choir or band or orchestra? Is it good for UC schools?
Okay, the gentleman's question. Is it good for UC schools that you take 4 years of music? No. It's not bad. You know what it's good for? It's good for your soul, because you love it. And you always do things that are good for your soul, because it makes the experience in university better. It makes the story you have to tell more compelling. And admissibility is about so much more than your numbers, sir. It's as much about you, the academic, as it is you, the human being. And when you do the things that you love to do, you're a much more compelling candidate. So from a mechanical perspective, no. From an admissibility and human perspective, keep doing it. Go.
On the SAT2 option,
Yes.
We'll have the option. Can you literally only take one if you choose?
Yes. Isn't it nice to have the option? And you realize, of course, with score choice returning, which means you can hide scores if you want to, with score choice returning, a kid could take a subject test, go, oh, that was horrendous, we're not letting anyone see that. You've got to look, like, this is so much more empowering. It's less mandate and edict oriented. Kids that say, who stink at taking tests, and they do exist. Thank goodness for Princeton Review, they do exist. Now they don't have to take as many tests. They don't have to take extra Saturdays and go, okay, how are you going to make me feel stupid today? I love that. It's so much more pro-student. So if you have a gift, go for it. If you stink at them, run away. It's just a tool in the belt. Yes?
How are they addressing the disparity between the high schools where
Uni, Santana High School. I know, an amazing school academically and a crummy one. Would you agree that universities have a self-interest in having the best kids possible attend them? Okay. So right from there, I can answer, they always want the best kids, period. So for example, for the past 20 years, I'm coming back to uni, the top 50 might get into UCLA, whilst the top 1 from Santa Ana might get into UCLA. It's about admissibility. I'm going to take the best kids I can get. Now, one of the things they use a lot for that is standardized test scores. That when you have a school where the 3-4 kids average a 1950 on the SAT versus a school where the 4-4 kids average 1750, standardized tests are called standardized because they compare disparate groups. I promise you, you always want to go to the best school that is right for your kid because they do better and they get into better colleges. Go.
Is the score choice?
Yes, the score choice is in effect now.
Sorry, this year.
Started last year. Yes.
Can the kid go to community college to fulfill that A through G stuff?
Can a kid go to community college to fulfill A through G? You know, it's a really good question. It depends upon the course. It depends upon the community college, and you always check the website or ask the community college counselor. Sometimes it's yes, and sometimes it's no. Go.
How much does minority status play in admissibility?
Nothing. In California, it is illegal to consider someone's minority status inadmissible. Now, they're not idiots. Okay, if I'm looking at Crenshaw High School in downtown LA, I know that the odds of my picking a minority student are considerably high. I know that. But short of that, diversity is as much about economics and geography as it is about health. They believe that the entitled to review process is likely to bring a great diversity to their pool, but they want the best kids they can get in terms of admissibility. Go, in the back.
So is it still, from what I'm understanding, the kids are supposed to challenge themselves?
Yes.
So in a GPA, with a college feedback, is it still better to get B's in honors and AP rather than taking regular classes, taking straight A's and getting 4 points?
All right, the ladies' question. B in an AP class, A in a regular class. In the UC system, they're mathematically equivalent. They're both worth 4 points. But the UC admissions officers, not eligibility, the admissions officers, one of the first things they look for is the depth and breadth of your academic curriculum. So I would rather students take a more challenging curriculum than a less challenging curriculum. But, because I'm not allowed to give you an entirely right, straight answer, I also don't want kids all they've ever done is school. That's why that choir question was so good. If the choir kid gave up AP German to play trombone, I like that kid, because he's going to be in band for me at UCLA. So, you know, I don't want kids who are just a one-trick pony. So if your daughter gives up theater to take AP Physics, oh, that's bad, at every level. But sort of on the surface, a B in an AP, an A in a regular class, they're mathematically equivalent, but the B looks better.